The planet Zarnak 4 was a nightmare forged by cosmic cruelty. Its skies were streaked with acidic vapor, its storms raged with ionized lightning, and every creature that walked, crawled, or flew upon its surface was born in violence and survived only through brutality. The Krivarn, evolved from armored predators, thrived in this hostile world. Their bones were like steel, their blood thick with antitoxins, and their minds honed by centuries of instinctive warfare. They were proud, deadly, and above all, certain that no other species could match their resilience. They called themselves Deathworlders, survivors of the cruelest world known to the stars. Across their expanding galactic empire, they encountered countless civilizations. Soft beings with fragile skin and polite diplomacy. Peaceful creatures with wide eyes and slower hearts. Even the warlike ones cracked quickly under Zarnak's trials. To the Krivarn, they were all children of lesser worlds. Then came the signal. It originated from an uncharted system near a collapsed star, a distress call laced with primitive encryption and desperate pulse bursts. Curious, the Krivarn warship Harrowfang diverted course. What they found was a wreck, a small, twisted vessel embedded in the ice crust of a Class 9 world, the kind they considered barely survivable. Scans showed one life form inside. Captain Rilvek ordered retrieval, expecting to find a dying alien pleading for mercy. What they found instead was a man. Broken arm, ribs fractured, blood frozen to his torn suit, but alive. Conscious. Defiant. The human aimed a makeshift torch weapon at them as they breached the hull. He shouted in a strange tongue, then collapsed in a pool of steaming breath. Back on the ship, he introduced himself, Lieutenant Jack Rivers of the Earth Union Naval Forces. His ship, the Resolute, had been hit by a rogue asteroid. He'd crashed, built a shelter, fought off predators the size of hovercrafts, and eaten melted snow and protein bricks for 5 days. The Krivarn medic declared his vitals impossible. His body had adapted rapidly to the gravity. His immune system had neutralized 2 unknown viruses. His eyes had ice burns. He didn't flinch. When asked why he didn't trigger his distress beacon sooner, Jack shrugged. Didn't want to waste it. Figured I had another week or 2 before things got serious. The crew was fascinated. This creature, this human, was not like the others they'd met. He asked for access to their training room, lifted double his weight within hours, drank their acidic ration fluid like it was coffee. He sparred with Krivarn soldiers and laughed when thrown across the mat. He learned their language in days. The crew began to whisper. Is he one of us? Is he a Deathworlder too? They put him to the test. A storm in the orbit of Draxel Prime required hull repairs in open space. Radiation flared dangerously high. The Krivarn hesitated. Jack volunteered. He patched the rupture with molten alloy and sang old Earth songs through the comms. He returned with half his suit melted, skin blistered, but grinning. Bit of sunburn, he joked. On Kevlar 9. He walked barefoot across acidic soil to retrieve a data node. On Vendrick Station, he arm-wrestled a Krivarn warchief and won through grit and sheer stubbornness. And when the Harrowfang came under attack by the Narthi, pirates known for their ruthless boarding tactics, Jack fought in the front line. Not with their plasma blades or shock rifles, but with a Krivarn combat axe in one hand and a repurposed conduit pipe in the other. He screamed like a beast, bled like a river, and refused to fall. Afterward, the crew held a private gathering. Krivarn did not celebrate often, but for Jack Rivers, they poured their strongest firewine. Captain Rilvek stood and addressed his warriors. We believed our world had forged the galaxy's deadliest species. But we were wrong. There is another death world. It is called Earth, and its children walk through fire as easily as we do. Jack raised his cup.
To Earth.
The little blue hellhole that made me. The Krivarn saluted. Word spread fast. Other Krivarn ships reached out. Diplomats from Earth arrived, carrying footage of Earth's history. Volcanoes, ice ages, pandemics, wars, monsters of flesh and machine. They showed ancient cities consumed by floods and rebuilt from rubble. They told stories of explorers who crossed oceans with nothing but wind, of scientists who split atoms and rebuilt their own hearts. Rilvek watched it all and whispered, "They were born in chaos. We were born in fear," Jack added. "Earth teaches you one thing: adapt or die. Sometimes both." It wasn't long before joint exercises began. Krivarn and humans trained together, sharing tactics, technologies, even jokes. Humans proved fast learners. Reckless, yes. Illogical sometimes. But inventive in ways no Krivarn could anticipate. Where Krivarn attacked head-on, humans flanked. Where Krivarn endured, humans adapted. Where Krivarn saw threats, humans saw opportunity. On the battlefield, they were perfect complements. In diplomacy, they were fire and steel. The Galactic Senate took notice. For the first time in centuries, Krivarn ambassadors sat beside human generals at negotiation tables. Planets once too dangerous to colonize were now joint ventures. Enemies thought twice. Who would dare challenge a species that danced with death? Years passed. Jack stayed aboard the Harrowfang, eventually promoted to Honor Commander, a title never before given to a non-Krivarn. He grew older, slower, but never softer. When he died during a deep-core expedition gone wrong, his body was recovered from a collapsing mine, arms wrapped around 2 wounded Krivarn engineers. His bones were broken, lungs punctured, but the engineers lived. The Krivarn carved his likeness into the Wall of Titans, a sacred monument on Zarnak 4 reserved for warriors who redefined what it meant to survive. Beside his name, inscribed in both languages, were the words, "He walked where death ruled and taught us how to laugh in its face." Earth was formally recognized as a death world, not because of its horrors but because of its people. Because Jack Rivers wasn't an exception. He was proof. Proof that the Krivarn were not alone. Proof that death had many faces, and sometimes it smiled with human teeth.